and evidences can be provided against you doesn't mean that you're not a criminal in the eyes of Afghan public, but also that you have committed crimes. Secondly, you mentioned a lot of this information and insights all of a sudden. I was an Afghan refugee as well, in Peshawar, exactly where you grew up. Don't play the victim.
Order. Can we allow a response from
Look.
Is it okay to keep it as brief as possible so all the questions can come through, please?
Your frustration and your anger.
I said no, please do not say it's frustration.
Your anger.
Answer the questions.
Your
I
anger.
have 2 questions, I want the answers.
Your anger is absolutely justified, as is the anger of all of the mothers who lost their lives in Afghanistan.
Did you lose a family member?
I absolutely did. You have no idea how many of my family members I've lost. I saved a lot of members.
Order, please.
Okay.
I understand
if
this
you
is
would
a very,
like
very
an
emotional
answer, I'm happy
situation.
to give you that answer. But if you like to be angry, I'm there for you then too. The reason I'm saying this is because we went through 4 decades of war, right? And every time a foreign country that supported the conflict in Afghanistan came in and left when it suited its needs. We didn't organize ourselves. In our government collapsed.
Order, please. Let's ensure we can get the responses.
Our government collapsed because there was no unity of purpose. Afghan media was advertising. You're telling me why I wouldn't want to say that the Afghan army has weaknesses, because that is exactly what led to the demoralization. When Tolo News is publishing report after report after report that says the Afghan army is not capable, the Taliban are advancing, there is weaknesses in the Afghan army. No weaknesses in the Taliban have changed. Interviewing and giving them, parading all of that. Do you think the Afghan army looked and said that this is good for me? Absolutely not. When foreign generals...
6 months. You did not pay the soldiers for 6 months. Answer that.
We did. Again, soldiers were paid until the last day of the government. There was one set of people who were not paid, and that is the local police. And the US cut funding for it on 2020 September, and they had 3 months of additional funding that were provided. Later than that, the Afghan government tried to scramble every piece of budget it could to cover those fundings and try to accommodate all of those. Now, again, I am here to answer all of these rumors that are out there. These are not, if you think that the world, Afghanistan would have justice, if the questions that are being or the rumors that are being circulated is what we base the future decisions of Afghanistan, that I think is injustice. You think it's pleasant for me to sit here and answer to you in this anger? No, it would be much easier, like everybody else, to sit at home. To sit at home, I don't have to face you. I don't have to face anybody here. I don't have to face media. I don't have to face these tough questions. What for? What do I gain from it? I gain that we, again, do not suffer another war at the cost of our people when they and their benefits walk away. When the Afghan jihad happened, my family fought, and it was supported by the Americans, by the Saudis, by the world, because we were fighting the Soviet Union. When the Soviet Union withdrew, where were those people to help rebuild Afghanistan? What happened to all of those families? The Americans came, they promised the world to the Afghan people, to the Afghan women. Where was that cause those 3 years when all of this was happening? I am responsible, and so is every person in a position of responsibility in Afghanistan. Whether that responsibility was being at the head of the news channel and owning a media channel, or whether it was the head of the parliament, whether it was at the head of the peace council, whether it was national security advisor, minister of defense,
I'm just going to call for another question. Order. Apologies for the interruption, guys. Recognize that obviously this controversy and there's lots of emotional
again, accusations. I don't have a house in Florida. I can't buy that. There is.
Order. Order. Honourable member, I do not have to ask for you to be removed from the event. Please, order. I'd like to first of all thank many of us in this room who have respected the forms of the House and respected our civil society rights to debate. I am Ambassador Mohib. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today.
No, this is not all the time that we have, because Zelensky, one second, hold on. Zelensky is...
Please let him talk. Please let him
he's
talk.
asking, he's the guest.
Please let him talk.
I have to say this,
But
okay?
stand in your own place and
Okay,
please
I'm
talk.
standing
Yeah,
here, I'm gonna talk to you
Excuse me,
very
excuse me,
calmly,
excuse me.
okay? I'm
Excuse me.
gonna
Please,
I'm
please,
gonna
please,
talk,
please, please.
I'm gonna stand here, okay?
Can everyone stay seated? Can everyone please stay seated? You are a member of the Union Society and we are aware of the forms of the House.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately,
Mr. Zelensky is being celebrated right now around the world. Okay? To my country.
honourable member, I think you've made your question. Do you want to give a chance for him to respond really quickly? Honourable member, honourable member, honourable member.
The people that you brought along here with today are looking more worse than we do, because this is... I'm gonna take a seat, please. Can you please look at the camera? Tell my family, tell the rest of Afghanistan that what you have done to the people of Afghanistan, okay? That your part. I know that I know Sayaf is from my district, and he was as bad as everyone else. Okay?
Please let him talk.
I need you to say that for yours, say sorry. Say it in Farsi, for God's sake. Say it in Pashto, for God's sake. I'll give him a chance.
But can I give you the answer? Can I get him?
Just because this is I hope you understand.
Right, okay, enough. Please could you sit down and let him respond.
Afghanistan.
Ambassador Mohib, could you engage with that?
Engage
if
in
you
exactly.
feel comfortable, and then we'll end this event.
Exactly this question. How long has the war in Ukraine been going for? 3.5 months? The Afghans fought the same oppressor in Afghanistan for 10 years. 1 million Afghans died. Everything we had was diminished. Our culture was attacked. Our institutions were attacked. We fought 3 months compared to 4 decades of conflict. This conflict creates more conflict. I will tell you, last year, I'm part of a cohort of young leaders across the globe that gather at time to talk about discussions. Everybody's agenda was COVID. From industry to governments, the biggest concern they had was COVID is what is infecting everything they had in their lives. You know where COVID was on the agenda for Afghanistan? Not even in the top 10. It wasn't even. Every crisis gave more crisis. Every day we woke up, it wasn't just fighting the Taliban. We were in immediate conflict, not conflict, but in a difficult position with the country that was paying for our security forces, the United States. Our own allies were telling us that our enemy has changed and that we are an impediment to peace. We had to fight because we couldn't afford to pay our starving people. People were giving us $5 billion a year to fight a war, but weren't ready to give us $50 million to pay for the food of those because of the climate, drought, because of drought. They weren't prepared to do that. We had all of what we were doing. In 10 years, my friend, you will think back, that decision saved the lives of millions of Afghans. You think fighting is easy, or fighting is hard? Not fighting is harder. Everybody in Afghanistan knows and can fight back, okay? But it's when we need to come to end that war, end it when it's no longer going to serve, and we have the chance or choice to be able to do so.
Okay, thank you very much. Order. Understand how emotional this is for many people, but of course we commend that the Oxford Union Society is holding this event today, allowing people to express themselves, allowing people to hold people that they want to ask questions from to account. Unfortunately, that's all we have time for today, and I'd like to thank all of you for attending today's event, and finally I'd like to thank Ambassador Mohib for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Before we leave, I'd like to encourage that all stay seated until Ambassador Mohib leaves the chamber. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all to listening. Thank you.